Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching the world. My name is Sean Driver. This is the Red Horde, and it's the Who Are You series, where we end up looking at the clubs around League Two and figuring out just exactly. So, Forest Green Rovers, you're up. Let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, feel free. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button. We've just surpassed 1,000. Super thankful for that. And so jumping straight into this one, the Forest Green Rovers, the Rovers, location Nailsworth in England, which is 4 miles south of Stroud. So really you've got 5,600 in Nailsworth. You've got 13,500-ish in Stroud. The stadium, the new lawn, this one opened in 2006. It's fascinating to me that even though it's a relatively new stadium, already looking to build another one, the Eco Park in Stroud being planned, 5,000 seats, a stadium entirely to be made out of wood. The capacity of the new lawn, 5,147, 2,000 of those seated this year, 24th in the league with only 2,003 as their average attendance, right at the bottom of the league and by quite some distance. Distance away from the race course, 142 miles, 229 kilometers. That's a travel time of 2 hours, 35 minutes. And as to the turnover, actually found it, 5,052,878 quid. That's at least according to the Gloucestershire punchline. Owner Dale Vince, hey, he's a green energy guy. The Wood Stadium leads you to that conclusion if you hadn't got there on your own. He's made the club carbon neutral. It's all vegan. And Wiki tells me that they're the first club in the world to make their jerseys out of recycled plastic and coffee grounds. FGR, as to their history, formed in 1889 but transformed when Dale Vince took them over in 2010. Largely they played in the lower leagues for their entire existence, earning promotion eventually into the conference, the National League, Tier 5, in 1997-1998. They were saved from relegation a couple of times until promoted into the EFL through League 2 in 2016-2017 via the playoffs. They were the League 2 champions in 2021-2022, and they had 1 year in League One before bouncing down, finishing last year. As to their honors, they were obviously League 2 champions a couple of years ago, back-to-back champions through Tier 7 and Tier 6 back in 96, 97, 97, 98, and the winners of the FA Vase. Don't know which pronunciation you prefer. Pick one. In 1981-82, the FA Vase being the FA competition between Tiers 9 and 10. Their kit, they went from traditional black and white stripes and then changed them controversially to a fluorescent lime green. They then subsequently added black horizontal stripes. They changed to zebra stripes. Now they're, I don't know what you call them, tiger stripes. Fluorescent lime green for their homes, pink, fluorescent pink for their aways. Sponsored by Electrocity. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, and they've got a black and blue third that's sponsored by conservation activists, the Sea Shepherd. The kit's unique, so I'm a fan of that. I'll admit I don't get the idea of digital jerseys that they have and advertised as shirts made with no material. Really, you get a digital image, I'm guessing, that you can purchase for 10 quid. Hey, I respect the movement and the push, and to the people that it matters to, it matters to them. I don't get it. 10 quid to get a picture. Anyways, Bookie Auth had them in 18th to be this year. Not expected to bounce back into League One, but not expected to be as bad as they've been so far. 3 points from safety, sitting in 23rd. That's got to be expected. Their record, 4 wins, 3 draws, 12 losses. That's 20 points, 23rd place. As to their performance in other competitions, the FA Cup, interesting story there. They're into the second round after a replay win over 6th tier Scarborough FC. They were to play their game against Blackpool but had it postponed due to an eligibility issue. That one is now going to be replayed after this on December 12th. So they've got a lot of back-to-back games coming up. As to the EFL Cup, well, fortunately for them, I guess, if they're trying to get out of relegation, they're out of the EFL Cup and have been for a while, losing out in the first round back early on in August to Portsmouth. The EFL Trophy, they won their group, so they ended up earning a home game. They drew Oxford United, and they, like us, they lost at home, so they're out of the EFL trophy, which again might be a bit of a reprieve given that they've got the FA Cup games coming. Record for their last 5 league games: 1 win, 2 draws, 2 losses. They lost at home to Bradford City 3-0. Lots of possession, 62%, lots of passes, 416, a slight lead in shots, but really no big chances and couldn't convert. The result essentially what expected goals predicted. It just looks like it was a reserved sort of game as far as them moving forward. And really the issue that I find is not a lot of conversion on their opportunities. We'll talk about that when we get through the stats. 2 games ago, scoreless away draw to Walsall. Again, ahead in possession, ahead in passes again. Just 9 shots and only 1 of them on target, no big chances. So we're seeing a theme here identified. Nothing up front? Well, we'll see when we get there, but fortunate to rescue a point in the game against Walsall. 3 games ago, draw at home to Grimsby Town 2-2. They led in possession again. They led in passes again. This time they were behind in shots and tied on shots on target. They missed 2 of 3 of their big chances, and the draw was an expected result. That's that one. As to 4 games ago, a 3-0 defeat to Tranmere Rovers away. Picked up a red card in the 52nd minute. They were already down at that point 2-0. They led in possession again, led in passes again, but not a single big chance. They deserved a loss, not really to the tune of 3-0, but the theme of just being troubled up front continues. 5 games ago, 2-1 win at home against Crawley Town. This time, interestingly enough, they got the win. They were behind in possession. They were behind in passing, nearly doubled. But they were still able to eke out a win on only 8 shots. Their conversion, they were scoring about half on their big chances. So, a draw probably was, according to statistics, the right result, but they were able to eke one out. Taking a look at their season statistics then, and starting at the bottom, because this one becomes easier to explain as you go forward, and you'll see their expected goals per game, not bad. 12th overall in the league, 25.6 compared to us in 3rd. They're struggling a little bit with the accurate long balls, but when it comes to accurate crosses, they're near the top. Accurate passes, near the top. Save percentage, middle of the pile, not that bad, but there is one area, when we talked about it above, that continues to hold true. Goals per shots on target. 23%. That's a whole 7% below Wrexham, and we're in the middle of the pack. And so the issue with FGR is that it's not necessarily in the back line. It's not in the midfield. Their goalkeeping is okay. It's that the guys up front are just not converting on their opportunities. They're performing statistically better than their performance and the scoreboard has demonstrated. And I suggest it's because they're stormtroopers, just missing shots all over the place. Wrexham AFC archive.co.uk, that's where you get your information as to last games and what games they were and all of the statistics from those games. So go check them out. Last game, March 18th, 2017, a 3-0 loss for Wrexham at the New Lawn. That was in the National League. That was the year FGR earned promotion after they finished 3rd and then ended up winning in the playoffs against Tranmere Rovers at Wembley. Wrexham that year finished middle of the table. Connections to Wrexham, well, this is easy. No one on our end, no one on their end. Moving on. Last season performance, 6 wins, 9 draws, 31 losses. Trouble. 27 points, that was 19 points away from safety. And when you close out the end of the year, when 25 games of the year with just 1 win and 4 draws in 25 games, that's going to crush you. The gaffer, David Horseman, this is the oddest managerial appointment I've found so far. 39-year-old, no real playing history that I'm aware of. He appears to have become a career coach. He had experience in Bristol City and then at Watford before coaching. He was at Southampton's B team with some first-team assistants, and then July named to be the head coach of a League Two team. And it just seems like that's quite the jump for me. Turnover, hey, relegation is real. You end up moving down. You got to cut a lot of people. 13 players not invited back. 12 players brought in. Going to go through their lineup here. As to the players, the forwards, let's just start with Tyrese Omotoye, 21, 1,032 minutes. He's getting consistent opportunity to run out there. I don't have the stats because footy stats, if you're under 23, they just don't seem to have them. So not in capturing those. Troy Deeney, 35, 1,152 minutes. And listening to other podcasts out there seems to be quite the troublemaker. the disturber, the Brad Marchand of League Two, if you will, getting into people's business, under their skin, suggested quite frequently by multiple people that Wrexham's just going to have to do a good job of not getting involved. He missed the first three, then he had partial minutes of the bench, but he's become a staple, pulling the full 90 minutes, and you can see his stats here. Again, it's the shots taken, shots on target, shots off target. You'd expect the forwards to be a little bit higher than that, and so he's just not there with respect to putting him on goal. Matt Stevens, 25, 676 minutes, 15 matches, only 8 starts. He's their leading scorer. And again, you look at his shots on taken, 88th percentile. Not bad, but again, for the forwards, you would expect just a little bit more. Callum Morton, he's an interesting one. 23, he's only got 305 minutes, 6 games, 3 starts. He's on loan from Salford, and he'd be joined at the start of September. He has the best goals per 90, and he's been in an increasing role since about week 10 through to week 16. Week 17, he was out. Don't know the reason why for that, but now you're seeing the numbers you should see with respect to shots taken and shots on target. And so he may be a means to solve their issue that they've been having as far as missing like stormtroopers. He's got a little bit more focus and aim. Just for comparison, take Paul Mullen, shots on target, shots off target, 98th, 97th percentile, and that's even with those ones that we've seen uncharacteristically flying over the bar. He's still crashing it up as far as conversion rate, accuracy, and getting the shots on target. So that's the situation with the forwards. In the midfield, hey, it's all young, and so this is going to be really easy. I'm going to read their names and their minutes, and then that's it, because there's not a lot of stats. Harvey Bunker, 20 years of age, 1,167 minutes. 8 out of the 9 games he's played for the full 90 minutes, and he's had 11 in a row as a starter, so he's definitely settled in. Charlie McCann, 21, 1,170 minutes. He's sort of played all over. Attacking midfielder, center midfielder, defensive midfielder. Lots of minutes in the middle, but he did have a blip back starting the last 3, and so his minutes are coming back somewhat. Not certain exactly what the reason for that is. Kyle McAllister, now we get some stats. 24, 1,561 minutes. He's played every single game and started all of them except for an EFL Cup match. You take a look at his passing, not a lot as far as volume goes, but those, when you get crosses into the 96th percentile and successful crosses in the 98th percentile, McAllister seems like the guy who's serving it up to the front. They just need to find a way, if they want to win, to get a little bit more on target. And their last midfielder most frequently used, Teddy Jenks, 21. He's been in 14 matches. He's had 7 starts, but only 562 minutes. So he's averaging 40 minutes a game, which you'd think the young guy gets more legs, but those are their top midfielders. Just for a comparison and drawing them off as between McAllister, here's James McLean, and you can see quite similar as far as passes, key passes, crosses, and successful crosses. McLean may be leading the way, but as far as passes and successful passes, generally, McLean doing a little bit worse than McAllister. So good service, but maybe getting there and into position and working the ball up a little bit left with James as far as the passing goes. Defenders, Jamie Robson, 25, 1,372 minutes so far. One of 2 players to start every game. He has played some as a defensive midfielder. Lots of his stats are in the red. And I tried to figure out what to pull, him being a defender. And so here is his defensive stats, but there's just not a lot of volume there to go with, indicative that he has been probably moving around the pitch quite frequently, but not really that good if you're a defender with the aerial duels lost and the ground duels won. Should be better in that category if he's playing in the back. Dominic Bernard, 26, 1,663 minutes, the other one to play to start every game. And again, what do you expect from players that are in your back line? Ground duels 1, aerial duels 1. That's where the numbers should be, and they should be in green. They're not for Dominic. So struggling there in the backyard. Fankity Dabo, 28, 701 minutes, getting more minutes recently. Again, I'm repeating things. Aerial duels 1, ground duels 1, just sort of struggling in total. Then you get some reprieve. More Taylor, 29. He's getting increasing minutes, 673 minutes. And you look at his aerial duels 1 and his ground duels 1, at least in the air, he's got good numbers. And so potentially you're in the center of the back line, you would think, for more Taylor. And he's going to have to be the guy who steps up. And then Reese Welch, again, just the same theme over and over and over again, not really coming up with the numbers you'd expect for their back line to have, despite the fact that defensively as a team, they're not conceding a lot of goals. Last one to put up, Ryan Innes, 28, 1,139 minutes. He had all 90 minutes for the first 12 weeks. Then he's reduced a little bit. There's a stress fracture that he may have. He was reportedly supposed to be out for 12 weeks, but I see that he's getting minutes now, light minutes. So maybe he's better and healed quickly from that reported injury. He's got some aerial duel 1 statistics that are closer to what you'd expect in the norm in the 92nd percentile. Just still struggling in the ground duels. And as a comparison, this is what you expect. Aaron Hayden in the green, aerial duels 184, ground duels 154, not quite as good, but that's what you sort of expect is from your center backs, is having more green than red and yellow in comparison. As to the goaltenders, sort of split duties. Jamie Belshaw, 33, 10 minutes. Or 10 matches, 900 minutes. He's really been into it from week 10 through week 20, including the FA Cup. He did miss out on one game because it was postponed, so can't really count that. His save percentage, 68%. You compare him, Luke Daniels, 35, 9 matches, 810 minutes, and he's just below the 68 percentile. So really comparable goaltenders. I don't know what the reason was for the switch, but it is what it is. And you know what? Much respect to Forest Green Rovers for the work that they're doing. It's not inexpensive. It's an added burden for the club to take on, but their conservation, their ideals, their decision to move forward, I commend that. That's a valuable and necessary goal, and hopefully more of that occurs. So good on you, FGR. When it comes to a North American franchise, I started to look around at different clubs that were doing things. The Pittsburgh Pirates come to mind. They divert about 65% of waste from plastics from their facility. Seattle, the Mariners, they've reduced natural gas by 40%, water by 25%, electricity by 25%, taken on a lot of initiatives there, including the new scoreboard, which is down to 1/10 of its previous electrical usage. So kudos to them. In the NFL, going to go with Rob McElhaney's favorite, the Philadelphia Eagles, who have made impacts to offset their air travel by planting and offsetting by purchasing trees in a wildlife refuge in Louisiana. So good for them. So there you go. Marlins, Pirates, Philadelphia Eagles. Look, if you're still here and you've enjoyed this content, feel free, give the subscribe button and the like button down at the bottom a little bit of a tap and a click. Join us along for the ride. We're here for the FGR game on the watch party on Saturday. You can get that on iFollow and then watch along with us. Chat embedded. It's a good time. Also, the women's game on Sunday, they'll be taking on Britain Ferry in one of the cups, and so I forget which one it actually is this time. But we'll be there anyway, enjoying that game as well. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Another one done. 2 more of these to go, and still working on the academy stuff and a couple of other things. Appreciate you making it this far. Enjoy your day. We'll see you Saturday.